Lao Tzu once said, "That which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substances. That which offers no resistance can enter where there is no space." Few in the world can comprehend the teaching without words or understand the value of non-action. There isn't any definitive evidence that Lao Tzu actually existed, but if he did, his life would have been around the 5th or 6th century BC, placing him in the same era as Confucius. Despite this uncertainty, Lao Tzu is widely recognized as the author of a profound masterpiece called the Tao Te Ching, which serves as the foundational text of Taoism. One of the most renowned concepts that emerged from Taoist philosophy is Wu Wei. This can be translated to mean non-action, effortless action, or even the paradoxical action of non-action. In practical terms, Wu Wei can be understood as a state of flow, a phenomenon that athletes often describe as being in the zone. When athletes are in this zone, they perform without force or struggle, moving through time and space with almost no effort. In this state, there are no extremes, no worries, no overthinking. Everything unfolds naturally. To introduce you to the rich tradition of Taoism, I want to share with you the philosophy of flow. The Tao Te Ching is a deeply enigmatic piece of literature. There's not only a lack of agreement on the exact time of its writing, but even the very existence of its author is still up for debate. However, one fact remains clear. The depth and insight of this text have had an enduring impact on humanity up to the present day. It's also fascinating to point out that the Tao Te Ching is the second most translated work in the history of world literature, following only the Bible. The core of Taoist philosophy revolves around living in harmony with the Tao, often referred to as the Way. But what exactly is the Tao? That's a question that defies a straightforward answer, and attempting to define it is ultimately pointless. Our comprehension of the Tao is inherently restricted by the limits of our perception. The true nature of the Tao, what it actually looks like, feels like, smells like, or sounds like, remains an enigma. Furthermore, Lao Tzu reminds us that the Tao we discuss or try to explain isn't the real Tao at all. This is why the Tao Te Ching famously begins with the line, "The Tao that can be described is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be spoken is not the eternal name." So what can we understand about the Tao? According to Taoist philosophers, the real Tao is an all-encompassing force that goes beyond our comprehension and cannot be experienced through the senses. Even though the true Tao is beyond our grasp, the objective is to live in harmony with it, which is remarkably similar to the Stoic perspective on aligning oneself with nature. But how do we achieve this harmony with the Way? Taoist texts don't lay out a single clear method for attaining this. Instead, they offer various hints: cultivating a stillness of mind, restraining the senses, embracing humility, and giving up the urge to strive, all to allow ourselves to be more open to the natural flow of the universe. However, attaining stillness of mind doesn't necessarily mean sitting quietly with closed eyes. Taoist thinkers suggest that this inner stillness can coexist with action. When we are fully present in the moment, our actions can flow effortlessly, without resistance and with a sharp, clear focus, almost reaching a state of bliss. In his autobiography, former professional basketball player Bill Russell describes a unique experience. "It was almost as if we were playing in slow motion. During those spells, I could almost sense how the next play would develop and where the next shot would be taken." Similarly, in the Taoist classic Zhuangzi, there's a tale of a cook named Ting who operates in a state of flow while performing his craft. This caught the eye of Lord Wenhui, who was fascinated by how gracefully the cook butchered oxen. Impressed by his mastery, the Lord complimented him, prompting Cook Ting to set down his knife and explain, "What I care about is the way, which goes beyond skill. When I first began cutting up oxen, all I could see was the ox itself. After 3 years, I no longer saw the whole ox, and now I go at it by spirit and don't look with my eyes. Perception and understanding have come to a stop, and spirit moves where it wants. I go along with the natural makeup, strike in the big hollows, guide the knife through the big openings, and follow things as they are, so I never touch the smallest ligament or tendon, much less a main joint." A crucial element of this story is the condition of the knife Ting uses. He noted that skilled cooks replace their knives annually because they cut carefully, while mediocre ones replace theirs monthly because they hack carelessly. In contrast, Cook Ting had been using the same knife for 19 years, employing it with finesse and precision. This story ties into another fundamental principle of Taoism, the strength found in gentleness. When we force our way through tasks with effort and struggle, we might accomplish our goals, but often at the cost of wasting much more energy than needed and potentially causing unintended harm. In contrast, a person in a state of flow approaches a task with wisdom, understanding when to act and when to refrain, achieving a balance between action and non-action. It's about finding the middle ground, neither too intense nor too passive. It's the golden mean between anxiety and boredom. The concept of non-action contradicts the Western emphasis on forcing things and relentlessly pushing harder to achieve success. We're constantly urged to be ambitious, to take control, and to strive for more. Meanwhile, many suffer from burnout, depression, anxiety, and sleep disorders. Are we pushing ourselves to the brink? Passivity is often dismissed and confused with laziness, but they are not the same. Observing nature reveals that doing nothing can be more rational than it seems. The results we achieve aren't directly proportional to the energy we expend. They stem from a series of actions, many of which occur naturally. A task often requires no more intervention than necessary to guide it in the right direction. Isn't it often the case that many problems resolve themselves? Taoism draws a parallel between life and a river. The river has its own path or multiple paths, and once we find ourselves in its flow, we have choices. We can swim against the current, cling to a branch, or release and drift with the stream. Often we struggle against the current without even realizing it. Our minds tend to believe they can and should control our surroundings to ensure survival, which is quite self-centered, given that most processes within and outside of us are beyond our control. Let's be honest, we don't manage our bodily functions like digestion, blood circulation, or wound healing. We don't dictate the actions of others, control the future, or even determine whom we fall in love with or find appealing. Everything beyond our immediate control simply moves in a certain direction, sometimes influenced by intelligence, but mostly following its natural course. By aligning ourselves with this flow, we embrace the natural order. This is the path of least resistance, allowing nature to evolve without our interference. Therefore, the Taoist approach emphasizes navigating the river rather than attempting to dominate it, a futile endeavor. Another crucial element of the river in Taoism is the water itself. Water's qualities, its softness and humility, essentially represent Taoist virtues. Here's a passage from the Tao Te Ching. The supreme good is like water, which benefits all of creation without trying to compete with it. It gathers in unpopular places. Thus, it is like the Tao. Water, though it may be soft, has the power to overcome hardness, as evidenced by the erosion of rock. It doesn't merely seek out lower areas. It also operates without any specific purpose, goal, or desire. Yet it sustains and nurtures everything it encounters. It's a remarkable force of life that performs profound tasks with no ambition. Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. If you've ever found yourself in a state of flow, you're aware that one aspect vanishes and only reappears when the analytical mind reasserts control, the obsession with results over the immediate task. This concept is reminiscent of the Stoic principle of amor fati, which encourages us to accept outcomes regardless of their nature and focus on the present rather than fret about the future. Whether you're deeply engaged in sports, writing, or playing, when you're in a state of flow, you lose sight of results, the pressure, future anxieties, and past failures. It's just you and the task at hand, fully immersed in the present. The key to achieving this state is to let go. Letting go means ceasing to fight against the current, releasing your grip on branches, and letting go of both the past and the future. Embrace the present moment completely and live it fully, without hesitation. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button.